All right, so we got the PRL Cobra cold air intake right here. Been wanting to unbox this for a minute. I've had it for a few days now. It's been killing me. Unfortunately, we're getting a little low on sunlight, so I'm going to try to bust through this as quick as possible. I know that it's going to be a little bit more challenging than some cold air intakes or short ram air intakes. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Just because, you know, the process of getting it so low, and then we're gonna have to get the tune. I didn't want this to be like every other 10th gen Civic SI video that I've seen on literally anything, where as soon as they get ready to tune the car after they install the part, the sun's going down and it's dark. So unfortunately, it looks like it's gonna end up that route. But we're gonna get this put on, and I'm gonna get this unboxed for you right now. Got the big bore. We went with the Race MAF on this one. I bought my KTuner a little while ago. It's a great first mod for your car. I think that the first like real mod that I did to the car was putting that NVIDIA Gemini exhaust on there, because I could not stand how quiet it was, and I just hated the way that the HDMI port looked. So that was my first mod, was the exhaust. Then I got the KTuner, and that was phenomenal. I've been running the off-the-shelf 23 PSI map from KTuner. I bought it from Two Step Performance, which is a great company. Customer service is phenomenal, and you just email them. It comes with free 2-day shipping, and it comes with a free tune. So I went with the Stage 1 Plus tune, and they said, well, what bore do you have? And I was like, hey, I got the PRL Cobra cold air intake with the race bore, because I'd already planned on getting this, because this is the absolute best cold air intake made for that 10th gen Civic SI. And that way, when I purchased the KTuner, I got the free tune from Two Step Performance, and I already had the tune required for the installation here. So we're gonna get this bad boy on there today, no matter what. And then I already have that tune, so we'll get that uploaded. There was actually an error on their part. They sent me the Stage 1 tune instead of the Stage 1 Plus. So they gave me the free Stage 1 Plus and the Stage 1. So I got the free tune. They accidentally sent me the wrong one, and then they sent me another one because that was the right one. And they were like, here, you can have this for free, because they're great people. So now I got the Stage 1 and the Stage 1 Plus specifically for the large bore, the race version of the Cobra cold air intake. So the plan is to get it installed, and then we're going to try to set up with the KTuner and the laptop that when I'm in regular driving mode, I turn the car on, I have the Stage 1 tune with the PRL Cobra cold air intake with the race bore, the big bore, and when I put it in sport mode, I go to that Stage 1 Plus. All right. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into it, like TurboTax, into it. I got the handy dandy DeWalt here. Going to go ahead and get this stuff here unhooked, because we're going to take this old air intake off the OEM factory. Don't want to strip that. We're just going to take this bad boy apart piece by piece, put it together piece by piece. That was quick. Was the factory hose. This new one is going to be substantially larger, so I am more than excited. Going to remove the mass airflow sensor here. Now these are screws that I'm probably going to need to not lose. So I'm just going to put these in the box because I assume that I'll need that. Remove the mass airflow sensor right here very carefully. I'm going to get a longer extension. Take this factory air box off. I feel like we're making good progress until I start dropping stuff. Okay. Just screw here. Screw here. Screw here. And that last one's here. Watch out for that mass airflow sensor. Don't want to cause any damage to that. Gonna unhook this clip here. Set that over here for now. Pull that off. I don't know if this has ever been replaced or not, but it's extremely clean. It is an OEM Honda air filter. It looks as if. You know, I bought this car two and a half years old when I bought it. It's a 2020. So we got a bolt here, and then we have a bolt way down here. And those are both going to be 10 mils, which is insane to me because you can never find a 10 mil. So I got two 10 mils in my my Harbor Freight Pittsburgh tool tray right now. And ever since I've been stocked up on my 10 mils, I haven't had a use for one, which blows my mind. But the boys at Honda know what they're doing. So I guess we don't need this long of an extension, but we're going to, just because that other one is a little bit further down. There we go. Broke that bad boy loose. Well, there goes that. I have to join it down there here in a little bit. So, oh, actually, that was my 10 mil. I lost the 10 mil, wow. All right, this should just come right out. Yeah, screws are out. Looks like something else. It's holding into place. Down under. So just as I was talking about the 10 mils and how I was stocked up, I lost one, but here's my backup 10 mil. Kind of like my daily for my daily. There's another 10 millimeter bolt right here attached to this whole air box, which is one unit. There's another 10 mil right here attached to this air box, which is attached to the top piece right there. So that's why we couldn't get it removed. And then the intake itself is going to go through that hole from what I am seeing. So we're going to take this one off and then hopefully everything comes out. So this unhooks right here. Let's see. All right, we got another 10 mil right in here. Unfortunately, I am not at my place of residence doing this install. So I don't have a 10 mil wrench. We might need that for that screw at the bottom because the socket, I can't get the ratchet in there. Now, let me say, this will probably be a whole lot easier if you take the front bumper off. A lot of people do that, but we're desperately trying to finagle our way around it and be able to do the whole install without removing the front bumper. I've seen it done before, so I'm just trying to do that again. Now, I pulled on this and it popped out. And we're gonna go down here, now that we got that air box out. And we're probably gonna have to remove this as well, like I was thinking originally. I see the 10 mil here. Also, I see my socket down here. I should be able to get that in a minute. But I'm gonna double check that this 10 mil that I'm seeing from the top side is the same 10 mil that I saw from the bottom that's gonna need to be removed. I do assume that this is gonna start going a lot easier after we get all this little nitty gritty sorted out. So I'm going to check this 10 mil, see if it's the same thing, because I can probably reach it from the top where I can't access it to the bottom because that weather shield is in the way. So I'm going to pop down there and take a look-see. It looks as if, honestly, we could probably make do leaving this piece in here, but why, right? Because it's just, anything you take off the car, no matter how light it is, it's going to be weight reduction. It's going to be out of the way, and you know, it's going to be 1/15 of a pound probably less weight. So it looks as if this 10 mil that I'm seeing from the top is in fact the same screw that I was seeing from the bottom. So I'm going to try to access this from here, then hopefully remove this whole piece. Got that on there. There goes that. Now that was not the same 10 mil, but that one needed to be removed as well. So far what I'm seeing is you need a 10 millimeter wrench, you need a 10 millimeter socket, you need a 10 millimeter ratchet or the DeWalt or any kind of impact. I'm going to go under and I'm going to get this bolt out. And I'm going to make do, and we're not taking off the front bumper. So we'll see how that goes. I laid it out. Let's play it out. This is that 10 millimeter bolt that I just zapped from the top, and then this entire piece came out. That's at least a pound. And if you look right here, there's a 10 mil that I dropped earlier. Now I'm going to try to get this bolt right here. It's not the one I needed. I'm debating doing something that would be highly frowned upon, but for convenience sake, might be what we end up doing, because this weather shield is in the way here. All right, we're gonna do it. I don't have my drill, I just have my impact here. And try to widen that a little bit. Actually, where'd that hole go? Oh yeah. So 10 out of 10, would not recommend this. But this is what we're doing. I can't believe I just did that. All right, so I drilled a hole through the weather guard, poked this extension through here, got my 10 mil clamped up on here. You know what's happening? I'm tightening it. Hey, it's only crazy if it doesn't work, am I right?
Got that right.
We got that last 10 mil bolt out. So now we have a clear path to the basket here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this screw back in that I took out earlier, as long as I can find it. Here it is, so that I don't forget it. All right, that's in. I got this screw put back in here to hold this weather sheet together. I don't know. I mean, you're probably better off taking this entire piece out. I've seen a lot of vehicles, because I did an oil change recently, where they have this whole piece covered up, but luckily here's where you change the oil at, and that was just easy access for me on the last 2 oil changes that I've done. So this piece is cut out. If you don't have it cut out, you can probably take this weather protector out. Probably not a bad idea to do that in the first place, but we got the clear path here, and we're gonna go right over here and try to get that cold air intake in through that little hole. We're gonna test fit everything and then go from there. So we're gonna start with this little tube here, PRL logo. Position this how you want. Now I'm just gonna say, I assume it goes this way so that that PRL says PRL and not an upside down LRP. That's gonna fit right on here. Don't forget your hose clamp. So we're gonna take this, got the hose clamp here, and slide it on here. I'm not gonna tighten that up because I'd like to have the PRL facing up, but I don't think that that's gonna work out that way. So we might have to have it facing that way a little bit. We're just gonna test fit it from there. Then we have our big bore for the mass airflow sensor here. And we're going from this on the right to this over here. And we're gonna stick that mass airflow sensor in there. Also, these screws that I was saying hold on to, I kept in a safe place, put back in the box. Looks like we're not gonna need those because we got some fresh ones here. So thank you, PRL, for that. And this bad boy is gonna go just like this, right in there. Turn that top side. Boom. All right, we might end up adjusting this. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down for now though, just so the whole thing doesn't fall on me. So I'm gonna start by tightening this down. Little tip that I've learned over the years, because I've installed and removed quite a bit of cold air intakes. Go ahead, because especially now where we're just test fitting this and then we're probably gonna, reposition it. If you do the screw facing up, it's a lot easier to access. For example, Morgan's Volkswagen Golf GTI, Mark 8 GTI. It was on the back side, a lot easier install than this. This is a complicated process. Not really, I mean, you see what needs to be done, you do it, you make adjustments as you go, but they were underneath, right, on the stock air box. So when we put the new one on, I just place them up top because, sometimes simple isn't so simple. Got that tightened down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and flip this other one around. I put that on there backwards, but we get this hose clamp in here. We get the bore in here for the mass airflow sensor. And it's just an easier, process. And I know it's process, but process sounds fancier. That's why I use that terminology. All right, that's nice and snug, not too tight. We're gonna go back and fasten it here in a minute, but we're going to test fit everything as we go. I think that we are gonna have to turn this eventually, but we're gonna put the next piece on and keep it moving. So this is going down here, and that is not the next piece, but I'm gonna see which way that goes. And then this is gonna go on like so. So we'll go ahead and get the larger hose clamp for this. Snug this up on here. I plan on going under the car in a minute anyway. Gonna slide this down a little bit so that that rubber can do its thing and stretch. I'll loosen it up just a smidge. If you loosen it more than a smidge, the whole thing's gonna come apart, and these things aren't always the easiest to put back together. So now we can pop this on here. There we go. Even that out. Slide this hose clamp up so we don't lose it down on the bottom end. Oh yeah. Instead of smidge, we're gonna do a smidge and a half. But you don't want to go a smidge and 3/4, you know what I mean? There we go. I don't know much about Newton meters, but I think the scientific terminology would be loosen it up a smidge and a half, not quite a smidge and 3/4, and then you'll be fine. And tighten this down. That should be secure. Gonna go down bottom end and see if we can get this bad boy down in there, because we have to go through the sidewall here, the firewall, or this piece of metal right here. It has that little cutout, so we'll see which direction it's supposed to go. I'm not watching a video on this. I'm just kind of playing it by ear, or by sight. Actually, I'm eyeballing it. You know, we don't need to put the mass airflow sensor in here just yet. That's right here. So we're going to go down here, and we should be getting close to being done. The pod filter is going to be a little difficult because I am not entirely sure how I'm going to access that from here without taking off the front bumper. I might have to take a little bit of that skid plate off and then reinstall that later. So we're going to go through this little hole right in here with this bad boy. I'm just going to go ahead and see how we get the proper fitment. If it goes this way, or if I flip it upside down and it goes this way. Both ways look like they might work, so it all depends on where we mount these up. In order to make this fit in diameter, I'm going to go ahead and remove these screws right here. I'd imagine they'll be 10 mils. And then take this piece of firewall out, or not firewall, but the fender, and then we'll probably have to remove some of this guard right here as well. Looks like a self-tap screw. This one here screws out. This one here screws out. You got one more. Then this piece comes off. I don't even know if we need to take that piece off, if I'm being entirely honest with you. All right. This is already been removed from when I did the exhaust. I had to pull this down a little bit. Never tap that back in. Should be able to peel that back now. So theoretically, the only way I could see this fitting is if it went like this. So you got this screw here to mount it facing this way, because if it's the other way around, then it physically won't move or won't fit in there. Don't forget your hose clamp here, which I almost forgot. Gonna slide this up on here so that it's there when I need it, and I'm just gonna hope that it doesn't come down and hit me in the face, because that would be not ideal. The frame of the car here in the way. Just keep working that bad boy in like that and try not to lose it in there. We'll pop this on the hose and then clamp it into place. in just a moment or two. I'm going to retry this 10 mil bolt here that did not come out with a do-all. Didn't want to do anything with the do-all. So that little clip holds this in place. We twisted that, might have broke it a little bit, but you know. Ideally, if I could get my other hand in here, which we're going to go ahead and take this off now, I think. Some self-tap screws. Got one 10 millimeter here. Gonna go ahead and blast this bad boy right now. Because we're going to need to get in here, because this is where the pod filter is going to go. Looks like we got an Allen key right here, which is kind of interesting. Something I did not see coming. But not that much of a roadblock, because I did bring my Allen set. I'll pop this last one out, and then this whole piece should be ready to come out. And this is just the fender wall here, or your wheel well, I should say. And that looks perfect size. I'm not sure why this is not wanting to turn. Probably not a great idea to force that. I think that the Allen key might be a little too small, so I got my other set right here. That's too big. And like Goldilocks, man, I hope this one's just right. There we go. No, I would literally break this Allen key before I broke that piece loose. So what else do we need to get this out of here? There's a clip here. Oh man, I don't even know how to remove this clip. That's at 10 mil. I don't think that we have to remove this at all. I got all the self-tapping screws out. When I blasted this with the DeWalt, it didn't want to do anything. This last screw here is the only thing you should need to remove to get in here and have the easiest of accesses. So there's a little clip with this 10 millimeter bolt that's been giving us some trouble. I just watched a video and the guy just put his impact on there and it came right off. I think we're just gonna brute force it, see what happens. I'm gonna hold this clamp in place just to make sure. Eye protection would probably be a plus because we have had all kinds of stuff flying down at it. There we go. I mean, the bolt didn't come out. The plastic clip broke. Morgan's trying to pass me some glasses. It's very sweet of her. I think I got the situation taken care of. So yeah, this clamp that was on here just kind of spun around, cut through the plastic. I'm not the most concerned in the world because it did get us where we needed. I believe that broke it free. Laying on all kinds of screws here. I'm looking for a 10 millimeter socket, but good news is I have two, so I will take those glasses. Now that this has been, removed, I'm gonna try to get the actual screw out of here. Taking a better look. I'm gonna grab my handy dandy pliers one more time. Hold this tight with everything I got. I got the best grip that I've had on it so far. And the craziest thing is, this little screw here was the most complex part in the process so far. Now we can get this part of the wheel well out of the way, and hopefully it's smooth sailing from here. Oh yeah. We got this right here. I just popped this out, and then we have the end where that pod filter is going to hook up. So this is where we're going to be at. The most important thing here, getting this off for me at this current point in time, is so that I can hold this while I reach with my other arm and connect the hose onto this plastic piece here that's going through the sidewall here. And now that I have two hands, that should be a little bit easier to do. It's also worth noting, make sure that you have time for your engine to cool off, because I'm bumping into all kinds of warm things, but this car's been sitting for a while without being turned on. So I'm bumping in some more warm things like this front pipe here that would be extremely hot if the car hadn't been sitting. All right, so we got this little bracket here. This one's not necessarily in the way, but it's kind of pointless at this current point in time. So I assume that this is a 10 mil. I don't know if I can hit it with the DeWalt. So I'm gonna use this little ratchet I got here. Try to crack this loose and take this off. Yeah, you know what? When in doubt, break the DeWalt out. I don't know if this is going to fit in here, but I don't see us reusing this bolt in the future. So we're going to brute force this bad boy. If we strip it and we get it out, then it's out. There we go. I don't think it's stripped. I feel like it's a lot more difficult than actually like fully strip a screw than people say, or make it out to be. Now this is stuck on something else, because there's another bolt underneath it, and our first bolt fell down here, and we don't want that to get sucked up in the engine, so I'm going to grab that. There's another bolt that you can't see, but it's right up top underneath this, so we're going to try to clamp onto that and get that out of here. Then we'll just be taking off another bracket that we'll no longer have a use for. But is there anything that DeWalt can't do? I don't know. This piece here was holding in the OEM air box. It didn't really free up any more room for us. However, didn't really need to be there, you know? So there's a relocation for this line right here. Not entirely sure if that's something that we're going to need to do, right? And if something's not entirely necessary, you know, here on Rally Tire Motorsports, we just don't do it. You know what I mean? So I think if I remove it and then put it back in place after everything's set, we should be good. So I'm going to take that screw out just to get everything bolted back up. I'll put it up top so I know what's what. And then we should be able to get this hose on here a little bit easier, because this will be out of the way. When in doubt, break out the DeWalt, you know what I'm saying? When in doubt, break the DeWalt out. There we go. That's what I was getting at. So we removed this little piece right here, right? And now there's a way to relocate that with this little bracket right here from PRL. I don't think that we're gonna need to. We might need to. Who knows? Well, we're eyeballing the entire situation here, right? And then we're going to figure it out in a minute. With that said, what we're gonna do now is I'm trying to get this hose connected to this piece here that goes down in that way. and that's where the pod filter is going to go. So I'm struggling with this. I'm going to have Morgan push from the top. I'm going to push from the bottom. We'll get it clamped on there, and then I'll tighten down that hose clamp. So we're going to put the camera on the tripod, and you'll probably get more of like this angle than anything. So you won't get the whole like nitty gritty fit for this short clip, but I'm just showing you what we're doing here. And that's what we got to do at this current point in time. So we got the best camera angle that we could possibly get for you here. You're not gonna be able to see the whole nitty gritty, but this is just like one little piece. I explained it to you. Morgan's gonna push from the top. I'm gonna push from the bottom, and then we'll bring you in when that's all said and done.
All right, I can kind of see. I'm pushing down.
Taking me a sec.
Yep.
I got shit in my eye. Can you possibly hold that hose clamp up there?
Yeah. And push.
Yeah, and push.
Okay. I got it.
Yep.
Heard the pop. Is that good?
That is very good.
Perfect.
All right. Let me,
Is it in place?
yeah, it's in place as fuck.
Perfect. You want the hose clamp?
Yeah, drop it down.
All right, dropping.
Perfect. So Morgan pushed from the top, I pushed from the bottom. We got this bad boy out of the way here. We will relocate that in the future, in the near future, actually, before the video ends, obviously. Gonna slide this hose clamp down. Looks like I might need a little brr, brr with the DeWalt just to loosen it up. How much? You guys remember? Let me know down in the comments. It was a smidge and a half. Remember, not smidge and 3/4, because that's a little too much. So I'm gonna get this hose clamp down on here, and we got this bad boy going in through there and coming out over here, which is where we're gonna stick that pod filter on. So I'm gonna loosen that up so I can slide it down a little bit, and then I'm going to clamp it down. So loosen it smidge and a half, and then tighten it back up a smidge and a half. Just don't go a smidge and 3/4, or you know, you might be in trouble. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this DeWalt up here, and then I'm gonna loosen this smidge and a half, and then refasten it after I slide it down a little bit. But you know, we're snug for room. Perfect. Might be a smidge and a quarter, not quite a smidge and a half. But you know, when you're talking smidge and a half and smidge and 3/4, it's a fine line that we're trying to walk here. We're tight roping it. Now loosen it up just a little bit more here. We don't want to loosen it too far. Slide that down evenly. I think it's got a little bit more loosening in it. What do you think? I don't think we're quite to a smidge and a half. That's probably as far as we can go without it coming apart. Now we're gonna tighten her up. We're gonna be just about done. I will say, this DeWalt is holding its flashlight a lot better than I ever did for my dad, from my understanding. That is snug. And then this might not be the easiest task in the world either. I also want to say, I had concerns myself, because I know a lot of people have, and I also wanted to say, I know a lot of people have had concerns about this, and I personally have had the same concerns. What if water gets sucked up into this, right? Now, I don't necessarily know how bad that would be for the engine. Obviously, that's probably not good, right? Oh, this is gonna be difficult to clean because then we got to take this off after like 100,000 miles or 60,000 or something like that. But now that I've been down here and I've been in the, you know what, in the nitty gritty of it all, there's no way that water's going to get in here. So you don't have to worry about that at all. I live in Nashville, and I-24, you ever take Briley when it rains? It's flooded. You ever go down Murfreesboro Pike into Nashville, down by the police station, you know what I'm talking about? Across from the gun range, and I think there's a Marathon gas station there. Well, it goes down like that, water gets in there, right? So sometimes you got to cross through locations like that. There's no way that water's getting in here, right? Like I'm like, what if I drive through a deep puddle? This thing is going to be so sealed down here that you have nothing to worry about. With that said, let's get this installed. We'll get this line relocated here, circumvented, and we should be ready to bolt everything up, put the mass airflow sensor back in here, and get the tune going. So we're almost done. We're back under the car. We got this little panel taken off. This 10 mil, I'm not even going to put that back in there because this thing, let me tell you what. All right, we're burning daylight. Gotta take this pod filter, gonna stick it right on here. Gonna see if there's anywhere to bolt it down. I mean, I'm not, it's sturdy, man. I'm not concerned about it, but we will look at mounting brackets. And we should be ready to get the tune on here. We're gonna pop it on like this, and then we can tighten it up with easy access. And just like that, she's on. All right. She's on, boys and girls. Gonna look at these mounting holes, see if I did anything wrong, see what my brackets look like, see if there's a place to put them. Got this other mounting bracket, and it looks as if we can mount it up here, right on here, and then down in here. So we're gonna try to get that by hand, and then go in and tighten it up. Where the gentleman did not take the front bumper off either, and couldn't get the mounting bracket to mount all the way up, was this mounting bracket here, not the first one, because when I tightened it by hand and I tightened it a little too tight, it wouldn't fit. I backed it off and then tightened it back up, and it went in no problem. So I assume that was the issue that he was having. There we go. Almost. So that mounting bracket did relocate that cable. It looks like it would fit real good. Although we can't get it to, because you have to take the whole fender well off. We're not going to do that. We're going to zip tie it because race car, even though it's a daily. But I'm going to find my other Allen key. We're gonna get the mass airflow sensor put in place, and then from there, we're gonna get the tune on this, and we will be done. Do the mass airflow sensor, then we're gonna tighten this stuff up that we kind of test fitted earlier, and then we'll be done. That's about as tight as she'll get. See, that one had a little bit in it. And then when we were adjusting, this one kind of popped off just a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen her up. Put it it all back together. And then blast it down. We should be good. So we got it all hooked up. Now we're gonna flash that TSP Stage 1 Plus tune, two-step performance Stage 1 Plus tune, to the KTuner, and this is where we hope that the car does not die. So we're gonna plug this into the laptop, and then we have the KTuner plugged into the OBD2 port, and we are going to go ahead and get that tune flashed over. The most fun moment, we got all the lights on the dash on, but it's also the scariest because if the battery dies, then we have a fried ECU at that point. So once that goes from the 11% that it's at all the way up to that 100, we should be good to go. And I'm also curious to see what that two-step performance Stage 1 Plus tune is going to do compared to that KTuner 23 PSI off the shelf tune. So here we go. I think I should be good to go.
Think so.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get it started up. Gonna give it a second. I don't see any lights on the dash, so I'm happy about that. CarPlay is connecting. I think we're good to go. Now, this is like the dramatic part at the end of every other KTuner video after an install on a 10th Gen Civic SI, where, you know, it is nighttime. So I'll give you a ride around tomorrow when the lights come on. I know that that happens a lot. In videos, people say that. Sometimes you don't see it. And then sometimes I do the drive at night. We'll go ahead and do it tomorrow. We'll make sure that we get that done. And when it's nice and daylight, you can see everything. Good news is my battery voltage is perfect right now. So as nerve-wracking as that is when you're doing that flash tune, it is in fact not that big of an issue when you have a decent battery. I didn't put a battery charger on it, which is what it recommends to do. But I was having good voltage for the last few days, so I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and do it. Just make sure, you know, all your lights are off, and because your auxiliary mode has to be on. Make sure all your lights are off and make sure that your battery is healthy beforehand. All your doors are closed and you shouldn't have any issues. So. So it's the next day. I'll get to some sound clips here in a minute. I just want to let you know I was driving home last night. It sounds incredible, but I was only getting to around like 17 pounds of boost. Okay, now we had the off-the-shelf 23.5 pounds of boost map from KTuner before we got the actual two-step performance tune on here. So I was feeling a little spoiled with that 24 pounds of boost that I was hitting at peak boost. And now I'm at 17. It's not slow. It did feel sturdy, like it felt like a more stable tune. It felt really good, but I wasn't getting that throw you back in the seat, you know, 24 pounds of boost type stuff that I was, like I said, basically spoiled with. So I went on Google and I said, how much boost am I supposed to be making? Well, to my surprise, it was a lot more than 17 pounds, and I saw some interesting things that happen as soon as you flash this two-step performance Stage 1, or in this case, Stage 1 Plus tune to the 10th Gen Civic SI. So as it turns out, as soon as you flash the two-step performance stage 1 or the stage 1 plus tune to your car, you get 3 maps on there. And I was looking through my KTuner and I was like, how do I swap these maps? Because map 1 is basically stock. So I think I was making like 14, 15, maybe 16 pounds of boost before I ever got it tuned. And just by flashing the two-step performance stage 1 plus tune, I was making like 17. So a little bit more than stock, but pretty close. When you flash the tune, it defaults to the first map. Then I was looking at the KTuner and I was like, all right, on the fly tunes, you got tune 1, 2, 3, nothing's happening, what's going on? I want more than 17 pounds of boost, right? And then I watched a nice little video and it showed me what I was doing wrong. So the car doesn't need to be in sport mode. I'm just gonna throw that on here. If you hit the control button here on your steering wheel for the cruise control, now cruise control has to be off. This wasn't working for me and I figured out how to do it. So like that's cruise control on, right? You hit cancel all you want, that doesn't go away. So make sure that there's no ACC and LKAS light on. And just to do that, you hit the main button and it goes away. So you're gonna hold this cancel button and you see how I'm just under 1,000 RPM? Well, you're going to see that shoot up to 1,000 RPM here in a second. And then as soon as you let go, and then that is map 1. That's where you're at after you flash the tune for the first time. You go up, that is map 2, which I believe is like 19 pounds of boost in regular mode and 21 pounds of boost in sport mode. You do it one more time and then you're on the 3 at 3,000 RPM. See, I can't go any higher. And then that unlocks the full potential of your TSP stage 1 or stage 1 plus tune. We are running that stage 1 plus. So now I'm getting like 25-ish pounds of boost, which is kind of right where I want to be. Now, see, I can't go up anymore, right? So now you're going to hold cancel to get that off the screen for a few seconds and it shoots back down. Now, this is the cool thing. It also adds a launch control to your vehicle. Now, the way that the launch control works, right, is because you have a manual vehicle, so you can obviously rev it to whatever you want and then, you know, dump that clutch and go, right? However, when you flash the tune, it only allows you to rev until 3,000 RPM, see? And then that's when you kind of start, you know, banging it off that rev limiter there. So the way that the launch control works is you hold in the clutch, okay, and then you just tap this cancel button and it shoots you up to 3,000 RPM. That's your launch control. Clutch is still in, and when you raise that or lower that, that's what you're going to be allowed to rev to. So we'll do 2,500 so that we're not revving it as high, because I'm in like kind of a bit of a residential area, right? So now we did that, and when I hold it, it only lets me go to 25. You see what I'm saying? So essentially, and then I'm holding the clutch and I'm going to change that back. You just tap it. You don't want to hold it too long, like when you're changing your map, right? And then you just set it where you want it and then hit cancel again and you're good to go. That allows you to rev it to whatever you want to, bang it off that limiter, dump the clutch, and launch from whatever RPM that you would prefer. Now we're gonna go ahead and get a couple sound clips for you guys. I got Morgan in the passenger seat, and she has not even heard it since yesterday, because I just figured this out last night. She was driving home separately, so yeah, we're gonna get some sound clips for you all. Hear it blowing off a little bit. That was first and second gear. I think third gear is a little bit better for sound, because you could start to hear that induction noise right from the intake sucking it up. So I'm trying to get into a better spot for you all where I'm at like a nice little cruising speed. Maybe through here you might be able to hear it a little bit better. Also be a little bit difficult to hear over the exhaust. I think it sounds really nice. I know through the camera it's probably a little bit quieter. We might open up the sunroof in a minute. There might be a little bit more wind noise, but you'll be able to hear it. It's extremely loud, especially with the windows down. Also, I'm gonna get at a more steady cruising speed and get you some more sound clips as well momentarily. So when I first hit it last time, I was in first gear, too much tire squeak, the exhaust was a little too loud. We're in second right now, give you a little audio clip. Third. You can hear the induction on my end a little bit. I don't know if you can hear it through the camera too well. About to take a left up here and we'll be at a steady 50-mile-an-hour cruise where I can get on it from, you know, a good pace and see what we hear. All right, from a steady roll. I think the exhaust is overpowering the sound a little bit because it gets screaming. What is that guy doing coming in my lane? All right, try fourth gear. Third might have been a little too high in the RPMs. All right, now this might be a little loud. I'm gonna open the sunroof for just a moment for you guys. Going over the bridge, it was too shaky, so we're gonna get you another one. We did hit 26 psi during that pull at a steady 50 mile an hour in fourth gear, right around 3,000 RPM. I'm gonna get around this corner, just make sure there's no cops. So we hit 26 peak pounds of boost with the two-step performance stage 1 plus tune. That was pretty cool. Sounds are sounding good. It's a lot louder in person than it is over the camera. And then this PRL Cobra cold air intake, just kind of one of the steps that you have to take on your way to building a 10th gen Civic. It seems like, you know, it's a rite of passage that you have to go through at some point, you know. But anyway, I appreciate you all watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We do have plenty of content coming at you soon in the near future that you really don't want to miss. So got some cool stuff planned. See you in the next one.